Okay. Are you able to hear me now, folks? If you are able to hear me.
Yes, yes, no.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, good morning and welcome to our sessions. So, I think we have already met, right? So, my name is Mahi, and I guess we have few sessions before.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. So, I just want to quickly understand what was your last session. So, were you learning deep learning before this?
yeah,
Okay. All right. So, just want to quickly get started with what we are going to cover in the short span that we have. So, we'll be having around 1 to 1.5 hours lectures, and we'll be covering NLP, which is natural language processing. So, we'll be looking from machine learning angle and understanding how the different set of algorithms work and how we can solve the problem. Okay. Before we get started, I just want to quickly understand the background. Okay. So, how many of you feel comfortable with deep learning on a scale of 1 to 5? Just rate yourself, 5 being the highest. This is only for deep learning. Okay. Everyone in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 5, just rate how comfortable you are with deep learning. Quickly. Can you make it fast? Okay. Kiran says 3.5. Princy says 3. Harshita says 3. Okay. Others? 3. Okay. Cool. So I've got 4 responses. Subhash, Rashmi, Hemaraju, 3.5. Okay. 3, 3 by 5, 3. Okay. 2.5. Okay. I would say that deep learning is important, especially for NLP. It's not that you can't build NLP without deep learning, but if you know deep learning and you build NLP models, it becomes much more better because then you can build the advanced NLP models which are based on deep learning. Okay, so let's get started. I'll be talking about what is NLP and where do we use it. Before that, if you have any questions related to the structure, you can meanwhile just let me know in the chat. Okay. Okay, just give me 1 minute. All right. So going back, let me just share my screen. All right. Let's begin. Can everyone just quickly type in the OTP in the chat? I just want to check if you are able to see the screen properly. Please mention the OTP in the chat. Okay, okay. Cool. So I think everyone can see it. Let's begin. Okay. So the topic is natural language processing, which stands for NLP in short. But let's start with small introduction regarding what is NLP. Okay. Let me just show you one diagram. Okay. Okay. So basically, in the world, there are three types of places where you'll find languages. Okay. So one is AI. AI is basically the I think by now you already know what is AI, but just to again reiterate, AI is the place where you make things smarter, right? It's the domain of making smart things. Okay. Human language is what you speak, right? What you understand. Humans understandable language. For example, English, right? Okay. Computer science is what computers understand, right? So it's computers language. Okay. So over here, NLP is coming at the intersection of AI, computer science, and human language. So this is NLP, and natural language processing is a subfield which is part of AI, which is part of human language, and is also part of computer science. Okay, so what it means is NLP will help you in making things smarter because it's part of AI, right? So you can build some smart outcomes, some smart models, right? So let me write NLP is smart. When I say smart, I simply mean like think about machine learning, right? You are able to take decisions by learning only on few things. That is a smart thing. You don't have to give rule-based approach. You simply give some training data. Based on that, you recognize the pattern. So you're making something smart. Okay. Next, you are adding computer science, which is programming language. So NLP is again having programming language capacity. For example, Python, right, which is part of computer science only. And on top of it, it understands things like English, which is human language. Okay. So through NLP, you can code in Python. It can understand English to make things smarter. in very simple terms, if I have to give you the definition of natural language processing, it's nothing but natural language over here is subjective. Okay. Natural language is defined in terms of human as well as computer, right? So over here, we are saying that, hey, whatever language a human is using, right? We want the computer also to understand. And we know by default, computers can't understand the human language. And that is the reason why we need to use NLP, because using NLP, we can make the computer understand what is the meaning of English sentences. We we shouldn't say exactly the meaning of sentences, but it can understand how to handle English sentences. Okay, English just an example, but it could be any other language as well. Okay, so the way that you process and handle text data, it could be language, could be grammar, it could be anything. Okay. Using machine learning algorithms, this itself is NLP. Okay. Because the way you will process, you'll be processing it to a programming language. You are handling a human understandable language, which is your text data. And you are using ML, which is a part of AI, which will help you in making things smarter. Okay. So this is what NLP is. It's basically in, if I have to give you a simple keyword definition, I'll simply say that, hey, NLP is nothing but text plus machine learning, right? You give text, you perform some machine learning on top of it. That is nothing but your NLP domain. Okay. So what will happen through NLP? Computers will be able to understand human language. Okay. Is the definition of NLP clear? Can everyone just write a one in the chat if it's clear?
It is not for images, it is only for text data. Actually.
Sorry, what was the first question? Is it for?
Only for text data.
Yes, yes.
But
NLP
it
is
is not
only for.
for images. No.
No, no, no. It only works on text data, specifically text data. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. So what is the need for NLP, right? Why do we in the first place require natural language processing? The answer to this is humans language, right? The natural language that we use, that is very difficult, right? Because it's so varied. For example, I might be using Hindi. There might be someone else who might be speaking Marathi. Someone might be speaking Telugu, and someone else might be speaking something else, right? So first thing is the languages are different, right? Second thing is each of the language have different logics. For example, Hindi has a different grammar, Marathi has a different grammar, Telugu has a different grammar, and so on, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is the language, whatever languages that we have, are so different, so complex, that for computer to understand these languages, for example, I'll just tell you a simple example. Okay, for example, let's say there is a article. Okay, the article is saying there is a cricket match scheduled at Wankhede Stadium tomorrow. Okay. So let's say this is a sentence, right? Now, for this sentence, if the computer wants to understand and decide, hey, let's say you want to categorize this. Okay, you want to categorize whether it's a sports category or it's a entertainment category. Okay, which category is this sentence in? For computer to for your algorithm to make this decision whether it's sports or entertainment, it needs to understand the sentences. If it can understand the sentences, it can classify as well, right? If you think, what do you think will be the answer? Will it be sports or will it be entertainment? Everyone, sports or entertainment? What do you think?
Sports.
Sports. Everyone agrees it will be sports. Okay. So the reason it's going to be sports is simple. You have cricket, right? Over here, you have one kid, you have stadium. If you think about it, generally any human also, like for human to also to take a decision, we mainly depend on some main keywords. For example, even if I write, let's say if I make this sentence shorter, forget about the grammar and vocabulary, but let's say I remove there, I remove is, I remove a, I let cricket match over there, I let schedule be over there, I remove at Wankhede stadium tomorrow, I remove this. And now this sentence, let's say if I just write cricket match scheduled Wankhede, okay, stadium. Even if I write this much, do you think you can recognize and say that this is going to be sports and not entertainment? Forget about the vocabulary and grammar, but just by looking at these keywords, right, you can still say the answer is going to be sports and not entertainment, right? How do you understand that? Because now the meaning of the sentence is not there, right? It's not a proper English sentence. It is only a combination of keywords. So meaning has been lost. But still, you said the answer will be sports. How did you say that? The reason is you only look at few keywords, right? And that's what we'll do with NLP. With NLP, we'll focus on the main keywords. The context will be lost. The meaning of the sentence will be lost. But still, NLP is smart. From those keywords, it will understand what you are trying to convey. So it will understand just by looking cricket match schedule 1K stadium that it's going to be a sports category. Okay. So the natural language could be in form of text data as languages, like different languages, right? But it it needs to be one on them, right? Like apart from English, Hindi, any other language that you pick up, when you have to deal with it, that itself is part of your NLP. Okay. Okay. Going forward, so let's talk about some of the examples of NLP. Okay. Okay. Talking about the examples. So first example is text classification. Okay. So you give a text data as input, and NLP will classify that as, let's say you are providing email. Okay. How does Gmail work, right? How does Gmail understand that the mail has to go in spam folder or it has to go in your inbox, right? Even for Gmail to decide that whether it's spam or whether it will go in inbox, it's nothing but a NLP classification model because it's looking at the content of the email, right? For example, if I ask you, hey, there are two mails, I'll just write the main keywords. The first mail has the text. Okay. Among option one and option two, which one do you think is more likely to be spam? Is option one more likely to be spam, or is option two more likely to be spam? Everyone in the chat, one or two.
One.
One, everyone agrees one is going to be more spammy. Why? Because of the keyword lottery address. Congratulations. Why? Because generally you would have seen the fake emails that people get, right? Like, you have won a lottery, please send your address, congratulations. This seems to be a spam message, whereas this seems to be a legit message. The meeting has been confirmed. If you have any queries, let us know, right? So Gmail will look at this kind of main keywords and will decide whether a mail is spam or whether it's a inbox, which is ham, also called as ham. Opposite of spam is ham. Okay, so this was regarding text classification. You look at text and you take a decision. Similarly, let's say if you have to classify news article, right? For example, let's say there is some article written on the web. Okay, there is some text written on that blog, blah 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 blah. Just by looking at that article, you want to classify whether this is from what category. Okay, the category could be, let's say, sports, entertainment, could be news, politics. Okay, we shouldn't write news, but let's say politics, because everything is news article. Okay, politics, or let's say finance. Okay, so you are categorizing the article based on looking at the text into different categories. Okay, okay. Going to the next one. So apart from text classification, there are many other applications that you can do with NLP. Okay, let's see one more example. So let's say, okay, search engines. So have you seen when you try to search on Google, if you simply type, let's say, what is the timing for IPL? If I just type this, right, Google will automatically start suggesting, hey, the next keyword as, let's say, 2024, right? Or maybe let's say 2023, right? Or maybe let's say IPL match, or let's say maybe IPL RCB versus uh, CSK, right? It will start giving you this kind of suggestions one by one, right? Everyone has seen this. How does Google understand what suggestions it has to give after you have typed something, right? So we know somewhere it's understanding what you are trying to say, and based on that, it recommends you what should be the next keyword, right? Again, everything is in text. So this is again part of NLP, and it's giving you smarter recommendations. It's telling you how you want to complete your sentence. And this itself is a very good application of NLP, where it tries to predict, where it tries to predict the next occurrence. Okay, the next occurrence, or let's say next word. Okay, so what will be the next word that will occur? And this same NLP models work with your text, your social media apps as well. For example, let's say WhatsApp, right? In WhatsApp, you would have noticed if you send someone a message and you type something, for example, let's say, I will be out of, if I just type this, it starts recommending you, hey, the next keyword can be office, or maybe do you want to write town, or do you want to write home, or do you want to write city, and it will give you all these keywords, right? And you select the best one. How does that work? Again, that is based on NLP, because through NLP you are predicting the next occurrences after typing some sentences, right? Some words. Okay, let's talk about one more application of NLP. So NLP is also used for language translation. Okay. And this is one of the difficult areas, one of the very challenging areas to work on. So I hope everyone knows about Google Translate, right? In Google Translate, how does the translation happen, right? How does Google, let's say if you write some sentence in English, right? This is where the this is where the prime minister lives. Okay, if I write this sentence in English and if I ask Google Translate to translate this in Hindi, right? We can select any language, but if you translate it in Hindi, Google Translate will automatically translate and give you the answer, right? कि ये जगह, I mean, I won't write the Hindi sentence, but ये जगह पे हमारे प्रधानमंत्री रहते हैं, है ना? तो how is that translation happening? That again is happening through NLP, because Google understands the context of this sentences, and based on that it gives you the recommended output. Okay, so this is very handy in language translation. Okay, so you would see a lot of places where you can translate your data from one language to the other, right? It's a very smart thing. Okay, let's see one more example. So this is regarding chatbots. Okay, chatbots are nothing but, let's say you open a website and there is an automated, like towards the right you'll see a chatbot which will ask you a couple of questions, or you can simply say like a bot. Even at WhatsApp, right? Even WhatsApp has chatbots. So you ask a question and it gives you a answer. For example, let's say what time is the workshop. Let's say I'm registering for a course. Okay, I open their website and I ask them what time is the workshop, and the chatbot will tell me the answer, right? It can tell you, hey, the workshop it is at 8 p.m. Okay, so even Alexa, right? If you think about Alexa, the Amazon Alexa, that again is a very famous example, because you ask Alexa something, right? You ask something, and how does Alexa understand what they have to reply, like what it has to reply, right? It needs to understand what you're saying, first of all, right? So it needs to understand, recognize your speech, what you see. Next, it needs to then recommend what is the answer. For example, if I am asking Alexa, hey Alexa, what is my schedule for today? Alexa will understand what you are asking and will give you appropriate answer that, hey, this is how your schedule for today looks like, right? Again, this is based on purely on NLP. Okay, because through NLP you are able to detect what is the text that is being said. Okay, the language. Okay, cool. So these are some of the main applications where you will see NLP. Okay, one more thing. For example, let's say on social media. Okay, NLP is again used to remove or filter unwanted content. Okay, for example, let's say if someone is posting something spammy, okay, or let's say if someone is posting some adult content, or if someone is writing some abusive language, NLP can help you in detecting this kind of text. Okay. Over here, by the way, there are few things where NLP will face challenges. For example, NLP faces challenges with sarcasm. Okay. It becomes difficult for NLP to understand that you are being sarcastic. Just to give you a small example. For example, let's say you are saying that, okay, if you read this sentence, the food is so insane, this is crazy, mind is equals to blown. Someone is giving a review for the food that they are having. Do you think this is positive? Positive as in this is a good feedback, or is it a negative feedback? Positive or negative? What kind of feedback is it? In the chat, everyone, do you think this is positive feedback or do you think this is negative feedback? Okay, Vishal says positive. Others, what do you think? Quickly, guys, what do you think? This is positive or negative? Positive, okay.
Positive.
Okay, okay. Everyone agrees that this will be positive. Okay, the reason why this is positive is simple. The person is actually complimenting the food, but in a little Gen Z language, right? Like food is so insane, this is crazy, mind blowing. All this are complimentary words. But NLP will get confused. Okay, NLP doesn't understand this kind of language. It will think, hey, insane is supposed to be a negative word, right? You generally you say insane when you're talking about something like something like mad. Okay, so mad sounds like a negative word. Second, crazy. Crazy is also like mad, and you generally say, hey, you are crazy. That is kind of negative word. Okay, mind is equals to blown, that again is kind of negative interpretation, because you're not exactly saying mind blowing, you are saying mind is equals to blown, which again it sounds like a negative reference that something is wrong with the mind. Okay, and because of all these negative things, NLP will think that you are saying a negative sentence. So let's say the task was to classify the sentiment of it, whether the sentiment is positive or is it negative. When I say sentiment, simply the meaning of it, like if the meaning is positive or negative. So let's say the food company wants to gauge their reviews, right? And they want to understand whether the reviews, based only on the text, are they looking positive or are they looking negative? And that is what will happen. Even though your reviews are positive, you will say this is a negative review. You'll classify that, hey, you are getting negative reviews. But in fact, this was a positive review, right? So this is where NLP will make mistakes because it doesn't understand this kind of languages like Gen Z languages. Okay. Even like if someone writes any kind of abusive word which are not present in the dictionary, it will fail to understand, right? What are you trying to say? Similarly, emojis, right? If someone adds a emoji, NLP will not be able to understand what you are saying with emojis, right? If you think about ChatGPT, okay, how does ChatGPT work? Right? You give a text as input, and it gives you a text in form of output. Right? It understands what you are trying to ask, and accordingly, it gives you a smart recommendation. Right? So ChatGPT is nothing but you can imagine it to be like a NLP chatbot itself. Right? You ask a question, it gives you the answer, which is same as a chatbot. Right? So again, ChatGPT is again a purely example of NLP. Okay, same for Gemini, same for Bard as well. Just that they can accept images as well, they can accept audio as well, and they can accept some other kind of data as well. But in short, if they are able to handle text data, they are chatbots. Okay, cool. Any questions so far? Okay, I'll just take a pause to see if anyone has any questions.
Difference between ChatGPT and chatbot.
Chatbot, and so chatbot is a common word. ChatGPT is a specific example. So chatbot can be of multiple types. What ChatGPT is? ChatGPT is a Gen AI chatbot. Okay. So there are two kinds of chatbot. One is smarter chatbots, which are based on Gen AI. For example, you you train ChatGPT with only limited information. But using that limited information, ChatGPT is able to understand how to write proper English sentences. Obviously, we have not fed ChatGPT with all the possible English sentences, but still it can understand how to write a proper English sentence. Right? That is based on Gen AI. It's making smart decisions. Whereas there are regular chatbots in which you give fixed set of sentences and it will return fixed set of answers. For example, I'll say, hey, if someone says hi, just reply, how can I help you? Right? Or if someone asks if someone asks time, say 7 p.m. If someone asks the location or the address, just reply that it's in Hyderabad. Okay. Apart from this, if someone asks anything, right? For example, uh, I am saying I have some payment issue to the chatbot. Since you have not given in the rules, it will not be able to respond. It will be saying that, hey, like for anything others, like for whatever thing are not mentioned here, just reply, will contact you, right? So it will say that, hey, will contact you, because it doesn't understand what to do in this case. This is not a smart thing. This is a rule-based approach. You have given rules to create chatbot. Okay. Okay. Even your searching, right? Searching is based on NLP only. For example, you open any document and you search for a keyword, right? Let's say I search for Apple. How does machine finds out where Apple is located, right, in the document? How do they search for it? Again, this itself is based on your NLP. Okay. Even Google search results, they work based on NLP, right? You search for something and returns the output that what is the best match for the searched text. Similarly, whenever you try to, let's say, search on Amazon, right, for a particular product, it recommends you a set of products, right? After searching, let's say I search for AC. Okay, it will return what products are you looking for one by one, right? AC1, AC2, AC3, AC4, and so on. This again is based on the concept of NLP, that hey, it understands what you're trying to ask for, right? Only from text data. So you can imagine there are so many applications around you wherever anything that is dealt with text data and it's making smart decisions, it is it is part of NLP. Okay. Okay. Let's move forward.
I have one doubt, like
Yeah, tell me.
means how it is able to understand different languages. Means uh, shall we need to feed it or how?
Yes. So we need to feed it. Without feeding it, it won't be able to understand. For example, let's say you want to convert English to Chinese, we have to explain English, we have to explain Chinese, then only it can understand how to translate. It's just that you don't have to explain all the words. Even with limited set of words, it can perform really well.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There is another application of NLP which is based on text summarization. Okay. For example, let's say you are having patient's record, like doctor is having patient's report, okay, in digital format. And there is a lot of text written on that report, right? Because let's say the report is having multiple instances of visit, right? So every time there is some text written and it gets accumulated. Now for doctor, since they have to handle, let's say 100 patients in single day, reading through the report will take a lot of time, right? Because the report itself is going to be comprehensive. So what we can do is we can use NLP to summarize this report, like just summarize and only work on the important part. Okay, let's say only 4 or 5 sentences are the more important ones. It will just understand, okay, the context. It will understand what are the most important sentences and it will show the doctor that itself. So now doctor's time will get saved by only focused on by only focusing on the main sentences. And this itself is a very good application in medical domain. A lot of hospitals summarize their reports in digital format using text summarization. So there are tools which use NLP to summarize this. Okay. Even you'll find this things with, I don't know if you have seen the new email features, but in Gmail, there is a option like in Gmail as well as in Google Chat, okay, Gchat. There is a feature which says that, hey, let's say you were out, okay, you were out for 1 day. In 1 day, a lot of conversation has happened between couple of team members, right? Let's say, there have been, let's say, 1,000 messages that have been sent in the time that you are away. Now, GChat will tell you the summary of this 1,000 messages. So it will summarize in one paragraph and tell you the gist. What had happened, like what people are talking about, what was the conversation, and what is the next action, like where did they stop. This kind of summary it will create. And it's so useful. Instead of going through the 1,000 messages, you can only focus on this to get an understanding of what has been happening. Okay. Same thing happens in Gmail as well. Gmail has created a feature which helps you in summarize the email. You would see this that, hey, whatever, this is only for lengthy emails, but wherever you see a lengthy emails, it says that, okay, I can just tell you what they are saying in short. Okay. Okay. There is one more application of NLP, which is regarding clustering. Okay. Or let's say NLP, we don't say clustering, we call it topic modeling, but it's same as clustering only. Okay. So what is the meaning of topic modeling? Let's say you write, let's say 10, 15 sentences. Okay. The first sentence is, um, there is football match. Second sentence is GDP is on rise. Third sentence is US dollar is decreasing. ideally the rate of US dollar compared to India's is decreasing. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Next one is, let's say, Prime Minister to visit Delhi. Next one, Kohli scores century. Next one, elections are round the corner. Okay. Okay. Among these 6 sentences, right, the task is to identify which are the similar sentences. Okay. The sentences which are similar. So this sounds like a clustering problem only, right? Because your goal is to identify which sentences are similar. So what you'll say, sentence one, which is football match, is similar to sentence five. Okay, because both of them are talking about the sports category, right? This seems to be about sports category. Okay, next, if you think about GDP, USD, so let's say 2, 3. Okay, they are talking about finance, right? They are talking about economy. Okay, so this is about economy. This is about sports. Remember, we are not classifying. We are not explicitly saying that they belong to sports category. We are just trying to identify which are similar. Okay. If you think about fourth and sixth, they are to do with politics because you are saying prime minister and then you are saying elections, right? So this looks similar to politics. So you won't exactly know what category they belong to, but you would know that 1 and 5 are similar, 2 and 3 similar, 4 and 6 are similar. You can manually check why they are similar. Like 1 and 5 are similar because they are from sports, 2 and 3 are similar because they are economy, and 4 and 6 are similar because they are from politics. That is how you can manually check and decide which ones are similar. Okay, good. So this is called as topic modeling. This examples that you see, all the sentences are referred as, sorry, not the sentences I would say, but let me just write this. Okay, I think my screen has stuck. Just a second. Okay. So this sentences which you have over here, which you are trying to find similar thing, these things are called topic. Like you find what is the common topic in the sentences, right? The common topic is sports, right? So sports is the topic. So you try to model, you try to understand the common topic. So topic modeling is same as saying like topic finding. You try to understand which sentences are similar so that you can understand what is the main topic. Okay. Even for spell check and grammatical errors, we can use NLP, right? Like understanding of the grammar and the spelling mistakes. For example, if I write like this, right, it will suggest you that, hey, autocorrect this by writing apple, right? This is again example of NLP where you are making changes to your grammar. Okay, even for um, even for grammatical mistakes, it can do that. For example, if I write how many time is left, right? If I write this sentence, it will say that, hey, it underlines this in red color, right, to show that it's a uh, grammatical mistake, and it will say that, hey, you can correct this by writing much, right? Change this to much. How this happens? This again happens through NLP, right? So it helps you in correcting the grammar as well as giving you proper spelling checks. Okay, cool. So I think this is a bunch of applications regarding NLP. I hope by now you have gotten an understanding of how powerful NLP is. Okay, now coming back over here. Okay, I don't know why my screen is stuck. Just give me a moment. Okay, let's talk about what are the different approaches to NLP. Like, how do you build NLP solutions? Okay, so NLP methods. How can we build NLP algorithms? First is heuristic. Heuristic as in the rule based approach, right? As I told you, for the chatbot, you specify some set of keywords, it will return some specific outputs, right? That is heuristic, like rule based, right? So, like if and else, you write if, you write else, and that's it. Second one is not rule based, but it's based on smarter things. And wherever we say smarter things, the things that power smart things are machine learning, right? So you can build ML algorithms to do NLP. Okay. Third is deep learning, which again is a subset of ML only, right? A specialized version of ML. Through that, also you can build NLP models. Just that in reality, NLP is a domain of making things smarter. So mainly NLP is defined with respect to ML and DL. Okay. Heuristic, we generally don't classify it as NLP, but still it's something that you should know, because even heuristic approaches, if we can use, then there is no need of using ML or DL, right? If I know that there will be only four types of questions, I'll just write four answers for them, and whenever someone asks, I'll reply that. I don't need ML for this, right? For example, let's say you're organizing event. People may have, according to you, they might have only four questions. Questions might be: what is the price, the date, the event, venue, the location, and let's say the speaker, right? if they if you think they will have only four questions, I'll just give that, right? I don't need a infrastructure for creating the ML model. Oh, by the way, have you guys completed ML ops? Have you studied ML ops, yes or no?
No.
No. Okay, cool. No issues. Okay, cool. Let's take a break. Do you want a break? Yes or no? Okay, so let's take probably let's probably take 7 minutes break. Okay, let me share the timer. Okay, I'll see you guys in 7 minutes. Okay, are you guys back? If you are, just type in a me in the chat. Me is me. Just quickly type in a me if you guys are back. Okay, I see Vishal, Nitya, Deepika, Subhash, Kiran, Harshita. Okay, I think people are back. Let's continue. Okay, thank you, Princy, Dinesh. Okay, let's go to the last topic for today. Let's talk about the challenges in detail. Okay, challenges in NLP. Right now, we have seen the applications and how we can build world-class NLP models, but definitely with unstructured data because text is a fully unstructured data, right? With unstructured data, you will face issues with there are multiple issues that you'll encounter. By the way, have you completed computer vision? Have you guys completed computer vision and image processing? Is that done?
Computer
Uh,
vision not done.
No, no.
okay, okay, cool, cool. Okay, so when you deal with images as well, you'll find multiple challenges. Okay, uh, there are challenges with images. There will be challenges with text as well because both are unstructured data. Okay, but here we are talking simply about text, so let's focus only on this. Okay, so over here there are multiple challenges that you'll encounter. The first challenge that I already told you is with sarcasm, right? It is very difficult for NLP models to understand what you are trying to convey, what you are trying to say. Okay, that is first thing. Second thing is with respect to understanding, let's say, if you are saying something which is ironical, right? Something which has irony, right? Sentences which could be like, okay, can anyone tell me a simple example of any ironical sentence? For example, let's say, mm, let me think. It's so amazing to see that city of least rainfall is now experiencing the highest rainfall, right? If you think over here, you're trying to find out that, hey, the city with least rainfall is somehow having the highest rainfall. Okay. When you have this kind of things, right? Ideally, the meaning of the sentence is that this is a better thing, right? You have more rainfall, which itself is better. But NLP may get confused. Okay, it may get confused whether it's a good thing or is it a bad thing. Okay, it may think at first that it's a good thing, but since you are also mentioning least rainfall, it may think that somewhere it might be a bad thing as well. Okay, so it's a little difficult for NLP to understand that you're talking that, hey, at later it became higher rainfall, like even though it's least rainfall, but it became higher rainfall, right? So it's kind of tricky. Okay. One more thing, as I said, is with emojis, right? Emojis, slangs, or any words which are not there in the dictionary. That is difficult to handle, right? How do you understand that? Spelling mistakes, special characters, right? this itself will be difficult. For example, if someone is saying that, hey, they wrote, let's say, okay, everyone in the chat, can you tell me what this word is?
Octopus.
Right. So this would have been T. Everyone understands this, right? But for machine learning, it's a little difficult. They may not understand what you're trying to say with hashtag unless and until you build a advanced model. Okay. So that is one again difficulty. If you have this kind of mistakes or if you have this kind of things, ML can get confused. Okay. So that's again a different challenge with special characters. Okay. Apart from this, there is ambiguity, right? It fails to understand the ambiguous situations. Okay. For example, okay, so I've written the egg fell on the ground and it broke, right? Over here, as a human, we know that the egg got broken, right? Because we can understand this simply by reading, right? That egg broke. But machine will get confused. It will not be able to understand whether you're talking egg broke or whether you're talking ground broke. Which one are you talking? It doesn't have that power to take or think from human perspective, right? And that's why it will get confused in ambiguous situation where things are not clearly defined. Humans will think that this is clearly defined, but the NLP may get confused that, hey, are you talking about ground or are you talking about egg, right? This common sense doesn't exist. So ambiguous situations is again tricky to handle. Okay. One more thing is metaphors, idioms, right? Metaphors, idioms. This is a little difficult. For example, um, let's say if you write, this was a piece of cake, right? This was a piece of cake. When someone says this was piece of a cake, that means that task was easy, right? It's a metaphor used to denote something was easy. But NLP would not understand that you are trying to say this is easy. It will take the literal meaning and think that you're talking about something called something with respect to cake, right? And this is where it will fail to understand the internal meaning of it. Like the task was itself was very easy. Okay. Even like you nailed it. Okay. You nailed it. Even this is talking that someone has done something very good, right? They have mastered whatever task that they were doing. But NLP would not be able to understand what is the meaning of nail. They'll think that this is a literal meaning to something to do with nail. Okay. Okay. Next is some words which are used at different places, right? For example, let's say let's say that the bird is flying. Okay. And over here, the student passed with flying colors, right? Over here, if you see, the words like flying are used in two different sentences for two different meanings. The first one says the bird is flying, whereas the second one says that, hey, over here, the student has passed with flying colors, right? So this itself is used according to different context. And this is where NLP will again get confused. What is the meaning of flying? It will think, hey, flying meaning is this, but what is this flying's meaning, right? The context it will not be able to understand. But humans can understand the context. What are you trying to say? Okay. So I think in a way, overall, these are some of the main challenges that you'll encounter in NLP. Also, like if you are trying to be a little, uh, be little poetic, poem, story, right? Or you're trying to show any kind of creativity, right? Or you're trying to say like write shairis, right? All these things are something which NLP will not be able to understand so efficiently, because in poem you'll be writing a lot of such words which the content itself will be difficult to understand. For example, you will be using metaphors, right? That itself becomes challenging for the models. Okay, so right now I think we have come a long way in how we handle the challenges, but still there's a long way to go as well, right? So I would say like right now we are at 30, 40% of this stage where we are able to build models, but there is still a long way to build the most accurate and the correct responses. Okay, so just summarizing what we saw in today's lecture, we discussed NLP introduction. What is NLP? How is it related to computer science, natural language, which is your human language, and your AI, right? Then we talked about some of the applications, right? Majorly, what are the applications where you'll use NLP? We also talked about definitions over here. Okay, multiple applications that we talked about, and post that. Just a second. And we also talked about the main challenges that we'll encounter while building the NLP models. Okay, so I think that is pretty much for today's lecture. I'll see you guys with the next lecture. Before that, let me just see if you have any question. Okay, anyone has any question? Feel free to just text or raise your hand or unmute. Okay, cool. So, did you enjoy your first NLP lecture? I hope it was understandable and you were able to grasp. Right? Can everyone just quickly type in a one if you understood today's lecture? Okay. Thank you so much, Deepika, Nitya, Pritija, Pransi, Shivraj, Harshita, Rashmi. Okay. I hope others have also understood this. Vishal, Sandeep, Kiran, Subhash, thank you. Hemaraju. Can we know the NLP course content? I think it's present on the Tutort website. So you can check it from there. You'll see the syllabus over there. So it's the same content. Basically, you will be having data pre-processing after this, data cleaning, then machine learning, and how do we build end-to-end NLP projects. Yeah. Okay. So I'll see you guys in the next lecture where we'll talk about few steps regarding data cleaning and what are some of the different techniques to build NLP models. Okay, cool. I'll wait for one another minute in case if anyone is typing a question. Okay, I guess there are no other questions. Cool then. If there are no other questions, let's wrap up and I'll see you then in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye.